Hello, guys.
Yep, we're back.
Here we are back again.
Come on.
This time we're gonna be reacting and conversating around something different this time. You know, not the ladies from See the Thing Is.
Yeah.
But a page I came across called The Roommates. I think they do some podcasting too. And a conversation that I've been having this week, and funny enough,
I had a conversation with a close friend as well, based on this similar topic as well. So
yes. So we're gonna be reacting, obviously, giving our points of view on the video and the topic itself. So the stars have aligned. I guess we're just gonna, just jump into it. Cool.
If I'm a guy and I have a girl who is expecting certain things out of me and she doesn't meet what I require, she can't really be upset because, once again, it goes back to a bunch of double standards. But like you were saying, it's kind of one of those things where, if what you won't do, the next person will do.
Yes.
And I think women view us like that. So when we view them like that, it kind of is viewed in a negative light.
And I think there tends to be a very incongruent idea because, of course, you might see guys who are rappers or athletes who have a very disproportionate time versus money, lifestyle. But when you're, talking to a guy who has a real job, even an entrepreneur that's outside of those industries, as a woman, you have to be comfortable with the investment of the time in that man's passion and not look at it as an assault to you and his emotions or his care for you. And that's what I found has been really tough because every woman wants the 6-figure guy or 7-figure guy, but I don't think a lot of them understand the time that comes with that. Especially again, if you're an athlete or entertainer, you're making 200 an occasion, it's a little different, but most guys are not living that lifestyle. And to make that level of income, there is a level of sacrifice and discipline that comes with it, especially if you're young. Now, granted, if you're a younger woman and you want that, then you might have to deal with maybe a guy who's maybe 40 or 50 and has those systems in place. But realistically, if you're looking to date a guy that's your age, that's making that level of income, there is going to be a level of time you're going to have to be comfortable with that guy spending on developing those systems and continuing to grow that level of security.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say is yes. I agree with what you said, 100%. Because like you're saying, especially if you are, let's say 20s, 30s, you're making that high level of income. That means you're either, let's say if you're in the corporate world, you're high up, you've got a high role or something. If you're even let's say in the creative field, a lot of your time goes into your creation. If you're an athlete, a lot of time goes into your discipline and all these kind of things. It's not until you get to let's say maybe 40s or something like that where you now established, you can now relax and do that. But whilst you're grinding, fam, whoever your partner is, 100% they need to understand, and it goes both ways as well. They need to understand the level of commitment that you need to show to whatever your craft is, whatever your profession is as well. So that person should be understandable. Well, should understand that. Okay, yes, this is what's bringing in the money. And as a result of this, I may not see my other half here as much, but am I willing to sacrifice that? That's up to the person. But if you are in that relationship, you should understand. I feel like.
No. I 100% agree. I think if you're going into a situation, you need to know what you're going into. And as you said, you can't attack. Well, I think actually I've watched this before already, so I don't want to speak on what's coming. But I do agree with what you're saying. And if you're earning you're in a certain tax bracket and you're young, you're still required to work to keep that going until you've got you're settled down, like you said, in the later years and stuff like that. Because it's easy, like women say, oh, I want this type of guy, almost like the guy's a meal ticket, or like she's a meal ticket.
Yeah.
But do you know what it takes?
That's the thing. I want a 7-figure whatever. Fam, I'm like, do you know what it takes to be able to hold that person down and support that person? It's not as easy as just receiving.
Exactly.
Like, even if you're an artist or something like that, that artist needs to be in the studio a lot of the time.
Yeah. Tours,
all of this.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah. I know these. I don't know if it's both, but I know these two twins, the girls, obviously.
yeah.
I don't know if it's both of them, but definitely one of them, like, is very accepting that they wouldn't mind. They can travel, they can do whatever, but yeah, I'm sure that's easier said than done. I'm 100% sure.
Easier said than done. Because you also, fam,
the women value time. That's what they value. They value time, the attention.
That's it. Some people don't. Some people just like the peace. I'm not gonna lie. Some people actually want the peace.
Yeah.
Some people don't actually value quality time like that. They just want
like a trophy. You mean like trophy?
Yeah. So it depends. But if you're somebody that values quality time, you need to understand that you may not receive that if you're with someone like this.
I fully agree. Well, let's keep back in.
Bro, that point is so deep because I don't think people understand that component.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand it. And I was talking to, and we could talk a little bit about the six-figure conversation if we want to, but I was talking to a woman who I'll give her, I like women who have that expectation because that's all they get. You know what I mean? Like if you're a woman who says, I only date six-figure because 90% of guys just should let me have this much money, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
My problem is when you don't ever get those offers. You know what I mean? You don't get D1 offers, but
you don't get invited to training. Yeah. What's going on?
So,
Practice squad.
but me and her were talking because she said her whole life that's what she wanted. We were having a great conversation, and then she said, but the problem is these guys don't have time. And what happens is that if a guy is usually working 40 hours a week, it's usually you get paid by the hour. And what I mean by that is not about like you clocking in, clocking out. It's that the more time you put in to building, let's say hunting. If I put in 40 hours to hunt, I can maybe hunt 4 buffalo. If I put in 80 hours to hunt, I can hunt 8 buffalo. So the more time you put in, the more resources you get. And so what she realized is that, man, the guys that I want, or the guys who I was dating making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year, they're working 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
And she said, I had to realize that, man, what do I want more? Because she was like, the stuff is nice, but I want your time. And one of the things I feel like a lot of girls who don't date those high earner men, they don't realize that. Like you pointed out, Gary Vee literally says he sees his kids on Saturdays.
Wow.
Patrick David literally says he sees his sons once a week. These men,
I don't think that is healthy, but
That's
I
not
understand.
healthy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
who are high earning, highly competitive, very ambitious at the top of the mountain because they're competing against other men at the top. 40 hours is a thing of the past. And so I don't think a lot of women are aware of that. And then they want to attack a man's character. Then they want to shame a man into putting those amount of hours. And then they don't realize that that's one of the reasons why a lot of guys may not be dealing with you in that tax bracket, because you don't understand, like Eric talked about, for him on his team, he don't need somebody after working 70, 80 hours to provide a life that you're enjoying to now complain to him about the time. You know what I mean? When you're not complaining about the apartment, you're complaining about that new Birkin bag you got the other weekend. You're not complaining about these things. So I really want women to understand that to not attack a man's character, especially these high earning men and men who are like you guys really working these hours, because that is what's required to be and to stay at the top.
Wow, that's true. Because you see so many examples there. Let's say there's so many examples there of these high earning males, in whatever industry it is, and the relationship breaks up, and then you hear stuff like, oh yeah, he wasn't even around, he didn't see his kids, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But a lot of the times people always jump on the gun like, oh yeah, how can you not do that? How can you not do that? But fam, people should also understand as well that, again, like once you're earning that kind of piece, like you may not be around. So if you're somebody that, what's this thing that they always say that there's 5 love languages?
Yeah.
What is it? Physical touch,
Acts of service.
acts of service, quality time,
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation. And what's the other one?
I think touch. or something,
Yes. Yeah, like already like 3 or 4 out of the 5 are gone if you're looking for somebody like this, because they're not going to be around to give you physical touch, quality time,
that's a very
acts of
good
service. So if you're somebody that values
That's
all of these
very,
things like
very-
that,
that's
you need to, you I don't know, you've got to either compromise or maybe you shouldn't be with this person,
Yeah.
because I mean all of those things are not guaranteed when you're with someone like that.
No, that's very true. I guess it's just seeing just one side of life, innit? You know,
Mm.
just like everyone desires to have something or to be at a certain place, but you don't take into account what it takes to first get there, and then what it takes to, you know, maintain what you have at the same time.
100%.
You know, like even
100%.
for me personally, time's flown by, but hitting 3 years married, like just in 2
Cheers,
weeks.
congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Hey.
Thank you. It's nothing, but it's,
Oh, what? So
yeah.
Boris has let his open lockdown for you, lot, yeah?
That's June. That's June. Hopefully on his birthday week. Yeah. But understanding like how marriage works, it's really, it's not a fashion, because obviously it's a good thing that everyone should want to do. It's very good, but people only see one side of it. You know, they don't understand most things you won't understand until you're in it, but they don't understand at all, or maybe accept the idea that it takes work.
Yeah.
You know, practical, intelligent work. You know, like love is not just a feeling. If it's a feeling, that's why you see some people break up. You know, like the same way you love your brother, your mum, your dad. You know, it's not always that you feel that love, but but it's about just having that broad perspective, as they're saying. You know, it's needed, because I guess, because I think even in relationships, when you think about it, I think that most cases is probably the expectations of both parties are very imbalanced.
Yeah.
When I think about it,
Definitely, especially a lot of modern relationships as well,
100%.
because you've got so many options to choose different things like this. It's so complex. Life right now is so complex. So that's why you see there's so many examples, so many relationships that like I've witnessed and stuff like that, that I'll say, okay, at first everything looked cool and looked good, but I don't feel like the people even knew each other like that kind of thing. Yeah, you knew, okay, this is how many siblings I have, and this is my mom and my dad and all that kind of stuff. But like in terms of like personality, in terms of like goals, where does one person want to be? Where do I? And I've even been in that myself. I've been in a relationship where person was, I don't want to go into details, but the person just say that we were aspiring for 2 different things. Me, I'm very like social, I'm very like I do a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. She was very streamlined and wanted to go down a certain path, and it just didn't work out. But this should have been said from the beginning, kind of thing. These kind of things should have been clarified from the get go. So I understand it, because at first like you act on your emotions. You act like, oh, this person, I like the way this person looks. We're having fun. We're having a good time. But you don't actually deep on the reality of or the reality that is to come, kind of thing. You get what I'm saying? So
I have another point actually. What do you say about those people that, let's just say, in the context of this, a woman, who they value like as you mentioned, those love languages and time and stuff, but they're not tricking themselves, but they want to see if it works. They want to see if they can adjust.
I mean, if you're willing to, if you wanna put your foot in the water, then also be prepared to that the outcome could not work out favorably. The outcome could not be as you thought it would be. Because I mean, nothing is gonna change. Like if this person, let's say they're CEO, they've got a high position within a company or something like that. Unless that person is gonna step down or not, that's their life for like the next foreseeable future. Unless they're happy to, take a step back, and you're happy yourself for the income to decrease within that household. But it's going to be like that. So I don't think you can even say that you want to test. Well, you can test it. It depends on both parties, whether they're willing to see how it works out. But again, I feel like communication is key, and you should see, okay, let's see how it goes, kind of thing. But just also be like, just be prepared because nothing is really going to change
Exactly.
unless that person, I don't even know how, unless they change their profession
Yeah.
and just accept a role that's not as demanding. It's going to be like that.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think if someone wants to be open minded to adjust, think 10 times, not even twice. Just think 10 times.
That's the thing.
Just make sure you get yourself into.
And the thing is, there are ways to adjust as well. Like if
Definitely.
I mean, you might not see the person, but this technology, you can do FaceTime, whatever you want to do with your call. I don't know how you can make it work, but there's ways, I guess.
I guess that person just needs to maybe have some self-awareness and have a Richter scale or something of how important is this to me. You know? If it's probably 6, 7 above, probably not. Maybe not. Might not be worth taking the risk, but yeah.
It's actually techy, man.
It is. Our relationships are complicated anyway, to be honest.
And again, it's like I get it because I hear both sides because you know there's also the methodology and thought that you know what you care about you'll make time for and I get it because there is still a level of commitment and accountability that as a man that you do have to have if you're cultivating a relationship, and I get that, and I don't want people to hear this and think that you know we're unaware of that, but I still feel there needs to be some congruency and a little bit of balance in the equation when we are having these conversations, because I don't think a lot of people see the other side. I think they want to essentially have their cake and eat it too. And just, you know, it's just having the awareness that if you're going to go into this situation and mess with a guy that's in a certain tax bracket that is outside of, let's say, you know, entertainment or being an athlete, that there is a time equation that's involved. Now, of course, when you get to the point to where you can automate your income and you create certain systems in place, and of course, you know, the time that you're putting into your work goes down. But again, that's something that takes time to foster. It's not created overnight.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's a good point. And I think, like I said, but I want to bring more of the guys on it to talk about this. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you said, it is a healthy balance. You know, there is a healthy balance between you can't neglect your woman.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, I'm working 90, 100 hours a week. You can't neglect your woman, but at the same time, to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Like, they don't realize that it's not just turning them on, it's keeping them on. You know, it's not so much, okay, you know, especially when you have kids into the equation, you know, you got to pay for college. You know what I mean? You have to pay for health insurance. Like, these are things you got to keep going. You know, the machine got to keep going. Then you got your competitors trying to take you out. So if you over there working 40, they're working 60, how long you guys can stay in business?
Right.
And so there's that component. But I really want to, because I think Kim did a great job of talking about what these certain women expect in men, and a lot of guys their eyes were wide open to like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. But I don't think women, I was talking to my sister about this, with the guys that you want, the Erics, the Joes, a lot of these desirable men that you guys want, I don't think they understand the expectations that these men also have for women.
Right.
Like I'm not sure if you ever heard this before, but women will always say, I'm gonna manifest whatever they create a requirement, height, money. I'm gonna manifest these things. So they believe, like, either from God or from, you know, secret or from nature, I'm gonna create a requirement and I'm gonna manifest them. But then if a man is like, okay, I have this body type, I have this thing, well, you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what God has. So now all of a sudden, now you don't know what God has. But you know for a fact God's gonna give you six figures. But when it comes to a man and his expectations, all of a sudden you don't know what God has in store for you. So I think a lot of times these girls gotta realize that the men that you want have high expectations, and you're competing with
Fam, there's no lies told. There's actually no lies told.
A lot of facts.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many double standards. I don't know, the same people that will have their requirements. Oh, I want this guy like to be this and that. That is the same people will be like, when the guy now says it, it's like, oh, how can you be doing that? How can this be your preference? I don't get that. Why is there so much double standards? Like, keep the same energy.
Definitely.
Keep the same energy.
And especially, I really appreciate and love the support that girls have in their circles for each other and stuff like that. But if a guy is not feeling your friend and he doesn't, she doesn't fit whatever requirements that he specifically has, don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
Move on.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
He's not deadbeat, anything like that.
Do you know what it is? I feel like, and this is not me just saying that, I feel like women just take things a lot more emotionally than men do. Honestly, and that's not me just, I don't know, because people will come and now fight me because of that, but then you're still just proving my point. But anyway, I feel like a lot of women take things a lot more emotional, a lot more personally than guys do. Guys, we actually don't care. We actually don't care about a lot of people. Move on. It's actually not that deep. It's not that deep a lot of the time. But I don't know. It's like once you've got an opinion or something against a woman, it's like they can't let it go. They can't let it go.
I found a statement this week that's so deep on this channel as well, where someone said, if you want to anger a man, tell him a lie. If you want to anger a woman, tell the truth.
That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Oh my days. That is so true. I need to write that one down. I need to remember that. It's true, Oh, wow. Wow. Oh my days. That is true.
When I read that, I was like, oh no, it makes sense.
It makes so much sense.
No, it makes sense when you
so
have
much
to
sense.
bend
Yeah.
around the bush, this and that.
Because a woman will come and ask you, oh, how do I look? How's this dress look on me, yeah? You can't tell her the truth. You can't tell her the truth.
Wow.
You can't tell her the truth.
Wow.
But that's why you just have to be like, yeah, it's nice, like, it's right. Yeah. But it's that...
And if your answer's not firm,
what's
I say,
what's that meant to me? It's true, You can't tell a woman the truth.
It's peak. It's peak. It's very, very peak. It's a very interesting dynamic when I think about it. Obviously, women and men were different creatures, but just as you said, the double standard needs to be there. It needs to be there. If you have criteria for men, men also have criteria, for you. The same way you won't settle for your standards, wherever they may be, what your standards are, they won't settle too for what they want.
That's actually it. That's actually it.
So that's how that's how the field is played. The game is played.
The game is the game.
It's true. It's very, very true. Very, very true.
Oh man.
Of different women.
Yeah, that competition word is pretty triggering. I'll let you touch on it. Yeah, and I mean, and I remember what Kim said as well. It's like a lot of these women too, if a situation doesn't work out for them, it's hard to go back to a guy who's maybe not at that level yet.
Yeah.
So, you have to, once again, keep in mind, it's all competition.
Yes.
So, if I'm a guy and I have a girl who is expecting certain things out of me and she doesn't meet what I require, she can't really be upset because, once again, it goes back to a bunch of double standards. But like you were saying, it's kind of one of those things where, if what you won't do, the next person will do.
Yes.
And I think women view us like that. So when we view them like that, it kind of is viewed in a negative light, Yeah, I think the word of the day is congruency and balance. I think it is very interesting because as a guy, when we do tend to give our opinions, it tends to be labeled as misogynistic. But on the flip side, when women tend to give their requirements and opinions, it's not labeled as misandrist, right? And a lot of people...
I learned that word this week.
I don't even know what misandrist is. What is misandrist? I've never heard of it.
It's the opposite of misogyny. Yeah,
I know, but I've never heard of it. Why have I never heard of it? Why have I heard?
It's not
why have
a
I heard
good
of
point.
it?
Wow.
Why have I never heard of it? Every single time I hear it, look at me. Have you heard of that word before? Misandrist. Have you heard of it? I've never heard of it.
That is
Why
actually
not?
a very good point. That is a
Why
very powerful point.
Why not?
It's true. No, it's very true. It's very, very true. Wow. I didn't even my mind didn't even enter that space.
Because I get it. Yes, I know that men have taken the piss for a long time.
Definitely. 100%.
And I understand that. I understand that 100%. I'm not trying to downplay it or anything like that. But at the same time, you still have women that are doing the same thing. Why are men not allowed to express themselves, but women are? Why are men not allowed to have preferences, but women are? Why are men not allowed to? It's pretty much the same thing. It's like, fam, if you're looking for equality, let us be equal.
Yeah, in both ways.
Let us be. That's what it is.
In both ways. in both ways. It's a funny society and culture we live in, man.
It is.
I swear, it's very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. There's another very interesting take, but I'll wait till we finish this. Only 2 minutes left to introduce this.
Misandrous? What?
Yeah.
You know, it's the female version of misogyny. And I think at the end of the day, of course, I think delivery is very big because you don't want to be disrespectful in your delivery and your expectations, but it is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want a certain job, right, they have a list of requirements, right? And when you send your resume in, if you don't have those requirements, you won't get the job. And people are very comfortable with that idea, but I think a lot of times when it dials back into relationships, people don't have that same level of comfort. And at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. It's just having congruency and doesn't make sense. If I'm a guy and, I have a certain amount of value that I feel that I bring, I don't think it's arrogant of me to expect the same thing. Now, of course, you do have to be careful in your delivery of those expectations. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, those expectations are still there. And I shouldn't have to feel bad about my expectations because they may not run congruent with what you're offering. And that's where I think people kind of have that gut check, because if those expectations kind of hit on maybe, certain insecurities that you may have, that tends to become the real issue when you start peeling back the layers. And then the conversation kind of gets lost in motion. And we're not even talking about the main thing, which is, as a man, what are my requirements? Now if you want to talk about why there are those requirements, okay, we can have that conversation, but it shouldn't be a back and forth about what I like.
Exactly.
Very, very interesting.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Wait, what's the word? Misandrist.
Misandrist.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard that word before.
Yeah, only discovered it this week.
Boy. But there's a lot of valid things were said there, and this is a conversation that I haven't even seen happen before, because again, it's not.
It's true. It's just
that
good.
you can have because
it's under the rug.
Because how can guys be expressing that themselves?
Exactly.
What is that? It's only women.
That's when the feminists come up. Hey, don't shoot us.
Exactly, don't shoot us, because again, I am allowed to express myself as well. And for me personally as well, going back to the actual even topic as well. Again, ultimately, I feel like communication is key as well. You know the position that this person is in. You know that this is demanded. Before you go into a relationship, this person had a busy schedule, had a mad schedule. Hence why you had to work around his timeline for whenever you guys were meeting up for dates and all that kind of stuff. So nothing is going to change. And if this is a problem for you, then maybe overlook the fact that you want a 7-figure guy or whatever, or something like that, because you can't keep it. Because
maybe lower your standards.
Exactly. Because it's easy to say that you want somebody that has this. It's easy to want the lifestyle.
Exactly.
But when the person's not around, can you hold it?
No.
Are you okay with that?
Exactly.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And if the person is looking for a certain type and you don't fit that criteria, then it shouldn't be taken personally either.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Because no one can say that. And another video I watched, linked to these, but no video, where one of the guys was saying is, no one can say they would give anyone and everyone a shot. Everybody has their criteria. Everybody knows what they could compromise for, what they can't, what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. So, if we look at it that way, there definitely will be less problems. I wouldn't say it'd be half, we put in half, but there would be less problems.
100%.
There would be less problems.
I definitely agree.
There would definitely be less problems.
But misandrist,
100%.
My new word of the week.
And we might just split this in two, make it a full thing. But when I spoke to a friend that's a woman, she got quite triggered. And her take was basically saying that she didn't like the video itself.
Okay.
Because they didn't spoke about the flip side.
Okay.
Where it's not still the level of normally it's a man that's in this kind of position, but where the woman is earning. And the guys with a woman in this context that's earning more, substantially more. If she's not around, she doesn't get the no slack is cut for her. Basically, that's what she was saying.
Okay.
she was saying that, you know, she didn't like the conversation, doesn't like conversations like this because the other side isn't taken into account. Because if this a woman say, oh, why are you working so much? You know, you should come back home. I mean, like, and if the guy even cheats, then the guy is given, you know, some slack. What do you think of that perspective?
Okay, with that perspective, the reason why I feel like the other side wasn't kind of spoken about in this conversation, but their conversation, is because the reason why I feel like they didn't take into account the other side is because just the nature of the show. I feel like this is a male-based channel kind of thing, and they speak about things from a male's point of view. I don't think they were doing it on purpose to be like, oh yeah, it's only men that are in this position or something like that. I feel like it's just based on their audience and their content. Their content is for male professionals, I'm guessing. Yeah. But I do understand the point that she's coming from as well. There are definitely some there are double standards again, where for example, especially with like the whole cheating thing and stuff like that. Like especially like artists and rappers and all that kind of stuff, it seemed like okay, if you're earning this piece and you're on the road, you're kind of given a license to go and do your stuff while you're on tour, stuff like that. You're given a license. But if now it was a woman, they'll be looked at as like a very promiscuous and all that kind of stuff. That is true. That's definitely true, and that's a problem with society as well.
I think is okay. But, I agree with that, but I think that's becoming balanced.
It is becoming balanced. It's definitely becoming balanced. It is definitely becoming balanced. Yeah. But then this is my thing as well. Like, is that the kind of equality that we're looking for? I don't know, because I get it. Yeah, men are allowed to be sexually free or whatever, and women are not. But then at the same time, I don't want my son or my daughter to just be out and about, just doing whatever, like kind of thing. Fam, there's a level of, there's a level of. Number one, you're trying to protect your health. Number two, I'm a spiritual guy as well. I'm trying to protect my spirit, protect my body, and fam, like I just don't feel like you should just be entertaining everybody just loosely like that. I don't really believe in that. So both my son and my daughter, I'm gonna teach them equally that you shouldn't just be sexually liberal and just be doing whatever and just be promiscuous, regardless of things. So again, I get it. I mean, you want equality across the board, but I don't know if those are the things that you should be fighting for. The right for women, for it to be acceptable. I get it. I get you want the equality, but I feel like there's more important and more tangible things. Not to say that this is not important, but there's more important things that you should be fighting for or seeking equality for. That's in regards to like the whole cheating thing. But in regards to what's the word even? Misandrous. Whatever in relation to that, I feel like this conversation was had because we haven't heard this conversation before. That's why it was a breath of fresh air. We've always heard about the woman's point of view. In that, the guy is not around. He's just on his work. He doesn't care. If he's not around, that doesn't mean he doesn't love me. He doesn't care about the kids, and that's the point of view that we always kind of see. But we've never seen it. We haven't heard this perspective, especially from people that are in this kind of position as well. So I felt like it was even more of a insight and eye opener because we only see one side of the argument. We only see it from the person, and it could be a man or a woman, the person that is not in the profession, that is not in the spotlight or whatever. But now we're actually viewing it from their point of view as well. And it's not that they don't care, because if they didn't care, you won't be in their house.
No, it's true. No, I agree.
Because why are you catering for someone? Because most of the time they're working to provide for the family. So you won't be in their house if you didn't care, kind of thing. But it's always perceived like, they just go to work, they do what they want to do, and you're just there as like, I don't even know, to just fill the space.
Wow. I definitely hear that. But regarding what she was saying, again, this is definitely an episode that we probably even speak to Renee, because I want to actually spend on time. But definitely get a woman's perspective on this, even two women, to see how the minds work, how the cogs turn in the brain. But I think it in society, it's true. it will be different because if a woman is out working, grinding, doing whatever she's doing, and she's leaving, her man at home, whatever, it will be frowned upon, to an extent. I do agree with that, but as they said, I think it's just about finding like a medium, a consensus where something's worked out together. And if you have, the need of time and all that stuff, then don't look for a partner like that to try and just avoid the problems,
Avoid it.
Just avoid
That's
it.
the thing.
Unless you want to be in those relations where you don't care about the time, you just you want the lifestyle, you want the tangible things, then each their own.
Like me, I view everything. There's pros and cons to everything. Like there's two sides to everything. Coin has two sides. I could have been born as a female. I could have been born as a male. There's two sides to everything. So I feel like even with decision making, you should weigh up two sides. If you got a new job or something like that, weigh up the pros of this job and weigh up the cost of having this job and not choosing the other thing as well. Always weigh up. Don't just look at something tunnel vision and just look at this is this and only assess that. Same thing with relationships as well. Weigh up. He's a big earner and kind of stuff and all the perks of being with someone that is rich or whatever. Look at that, but then also look at the other side as well. Look at the cost that you may be forsaking in terms of the time, in terms of a lot of other things as well, in terms of how you may have to act in public depending on who that person is. Like, you have to weigh these things up.
Yeah, and also, as you said that, also think about the intention behind it too.
Yeah.
Because we'd be lying to ourselves if we'd say, especially in this context, women who specifically have, in this context, high bracket earners, as their type or whatnot.
Yeah.
In most cases, the intentions aren't healthy, which isn't a surprise to how the relationship probably turns out down the road at the same time. So definitely analyze, look at your intentions behind it. Why do you want a man that is, this status or whatever? I think that's important to definitely take in.
And the thing is, they even highlighted you want that because you want the Birkin bag, you want the nice house, you want the nice apartment, all of this kind of stuff. That's what it is more time. Like for me, if the first criteria on your list, is you want somebody of this wealth, bruv, you can't tell me that you're not looking for riches, you're not looking for lifestyle. How can that be the first thing?
Exactly.
Even if you put looks,
it's true,
fam. Even if you put even looks there,
it's
that's even
true.
more even thing because that's an attraction.
True.
Yeah, but one is just based on material possession. Come on, man.
It's true. It's very true. It says a lot about the person.
It does. It actually does.
Wow, that's that's really deep, Wow. Whoa, that's a lot. That's a full-on segment, mate. That's
for real.
That's mad, but I look forward to having more conversations.
100%. I wanna express people's different. I wanna express the different views and understand.
Definitely. But yeah, these guys dope conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's unscripted, so we have to enter the different realms.
Yeah.
Different spaces. But yeah, let us know as well. Thanks as well for people who are still commenting on past videos.
100%.
Your support and everything is much appreciated.
We appreciate you.
And yeah.